Lieutenant Aric Talon had seen strange things in his years patrolling the outskirts of the Cora Nebula, but nothing had prepared him for the woman who appeared at the docking bay of the station where he had been stationed. It was a quiet evening. The station hung silently above an uninhabited moon, its observation decks glowing faintly against the black expanse of space. Aric had just finished a routine systems check when the alarms on the entrance bay flickered. A single shuttle had docked, no distress signals, no communication requests. He went down to investigate. When the bay doors opened, he saw her standing there, tall and composed, wearing a uniform unlike any he had ever seen. Her hair shimmered in hues that seemed almost alive, and her eyes held a depth of familiarity that unsettled him. "I'm your wife," she said simply, her voice calm, resonant, and strangely authoritative. Aric froze. "Excuse me?" She took a step forward, reaching out her hand. "Aric Talon. You don't remember me, but I am your wife. I was misplaced, lost to time, and now I have returned." His mind raced. He had no memory of her. His service records contained no mention of a marriage, no personal logs hinted at such a relationship. And yet, there was something in her gaze, an insistence that pressed against reality, like a gentle but undeniable weight. "Why are you here? Why now?" he asked, trying to maintain his composure. She smiled faintly, almost sadly. "Because the universe has its patterns. Some connections cannot be severed, no matter how the threads of time unravel. You need me now, just as I need you." Over the following days, Aric struggled to reconcile his memories with her insistence. She moved through the station as if she belonged there. Her presence commanded attention without demanding it, her understanding of the systems and protocols seamless. She spoke of events in his life he had no recollection of, but details were precise. The missions he had flown, the close calls he had survived, the moments he had sworn were private. Despite his skepticism, he began to notice subtle confirmations, small objects in his quarters he had never seen, data logs showing personal codes he didn't recall entering, messages from unknown contacts that referenced her. She was both impossibly familiar and completely foreign. "I know this is hard to understand," she said one evening, leaning against the observation deck rail, looking out at the nebula swirling below. "But time has fractured. You lived a life, and I lived alongside it in ways you cannot yet perceive. The universe corrected itself, and now our paths intersect again." Aric shook his head. "Fracture time? That sounds like nonsense. I've dealt with temporal anomalies before, but this is different. You're saying we were married in another version of reality?" "Yes," she admitted softly. "And that version still exists, in a sense. Our bond persisted. I've come back to restore balance, to protect what was lost, and to ensure that the choices we were meant to make together can still unfold." As the days passed, Aric found himself drawn to her in ways he didn't fully understand. She remembered things he did not, yet her actions always seemed aligned with his own instincts, his own desires, his sense of right and wrong. He began to feel that perhaps she wasn't lying, that there was a truth hidden beneath the surface of his own fragmented memories. Then came the first real test. A rogue faction of space raiders had been attacking supply convoys in the Cora expanse. Intelligence suggested that the attacks were coordinated, aimed at destabilizing the region before a larger incursion. The station's defenses were minimal, and the council insisted they were on their own until reinforcements arrived. She knows how to handle this, Aric thought. And indeed, she did. She moved through the control center with practiced precision, issuing commands, rerouting power, and anticipating the raiders' maneuvers before their ships even appeared on the sensors. Aric followed her instructions reluctantly at first, unsure whether to trust her, but soon, the logic of her decisions proved flawless. They repelled the attack with minimal casualties and no damage to the station. When the last Raider ship retreated, she turned to him.
See?
We are stronger together. Even when you do not remember, even when time is fragmented, we complement each other. Aric exhaled, a mix of relief and confusion. I don't understand how you know all of this. Because I lived it, she said simply. And because now, I am here to make sure it continues. In the following weeks, Aric began experiencing strange flashes of memory, dreamlike sequences that felt real, fragments of moments he couldn't place in his life. In these flashes, he saw her smiling, holding his hand, planning missions, laughing quietly in moments of respite. The emotions were real, even if the context was not. He began to believe, not fully, but enough to allow trust to grow. And with trust came collaboration. Together, they managed several crises, supply disruptions, diplomatic conflicts with nearby colonies, and even an attempted sabotage of the station's life support systems. In every instance, her insight proved indispensable. One night, after another crisis had been averted, he finally voiced the question that had haunted him from the start. Why me? Why now? Why appear as my wife? She looked at him, her eyes reflecting starlight. Because the bond we share is unique. Across realities, across fractured timelines, I am drawn to you. It is not coincidence that we meet again. The universe has rules, but it also has corrections. You freed me from obscurity, from being lost to time. And now, I can help restore what was disrupted. Her words resonated within him, and for the first time, he felt a connection beyond logic or memory. It was instinctive, profound, and undeniable. The turning point came when a massive temporal anomaly opened near the station, threatening to consume the entire sector. It was a rift of unstable energy, capable of displacing ships, distorting communications, and even erasing entire sections of the galaxy if left unchecked. Aric and his team scrambled, but conventional methods of containment failed. She stepped forward, calmly analyzing the anomaly, her knowledge of temporal mechanics astonishing in its precision. She guided Aric through a series of maneuvers that required perfect synchronization between them. This will require absolute trust, she warned. Even if you do not remember everything, follow my lead. Our bond is the key. For hours, they executed a delicate plan, navigating gravitational currents, energy fluxes, and temporal distortions. Aric relied entirely on her guidance. At the critical moment, as the anomaly threatened to destabilize completely, she reached out, and he felt a strange resonance, a wave of certainty, clarity, and unity. Together, they stabilized the rift, saving countless lives and preserving the fabric of space in their sector. When the danger subsided, Aric finally understood the truth. She was not just claiming to be his wife. She was his partner across realities, a being who existed because of their shared connection, whose presence corrected the disruptions of time. He reached for her hand. I believe you, and I trust you. Her smile was radiant, filled with relief and gratitude. Then we can face whatever comes next together. In the weeks that followed, Aric and Liora forged a life together aboard the station, not defined by conventional memory or societal norms, but by shared experience, trust, and a connection that transcended time. They became a team capable of facing threats no one else could, solving crises that spanned galaxies, and understanding the delicate balance between destiny and choice. Aric came to realize that some connections could not be erased by memory, by circumstance, or by the chaos of the universe. Some bonds endured, waiting for the moment when they could be restored. She had said she was his wife, and even though he had never met her before, in every choice, every action, and every shared experience, he now knew it was true. Together, they were unstoppable. And the universe, vast and unpredictable, would never be the same again.